Gaming Geek here with a quick video this week showcasing the game Dungeoneers using Kraken Studios Fantasy Dungeons. Before we get into today's video, just want to share what the GGGG is for this month. Each month, Bob the Beholder picks some of my Patreon supporters to receive gratitude gifts. And for this month, August of 2021, we have this game, Dungeoneers, a couple of PDF copies, as well as the Ancient Evil City Crawler set. One patron will also be receiving this printed and painted Hagglethorn Hollow Tower. And then finally, another patron will be receiving $100 to go towards the crowdfunder for Iridia, The Paths We Dare Tread. If you're interested in getting in on that, go ahead and check out the links below for my Patreon page, and you can see the details there. A couple of weeks ago, I did a video showcasing the overview and review of Dungeoneers, a print and play dungeon, and if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check it out here. In that review video, I did use Ancient Evil City Crawler dungeon set, which is perfectly viable and fun option, but some of you did say that you wanted to see what the setup looks like with the Kraken Studios Fantasy Dungeons, and so I went ahead and printed out a couple more rooms and managed to replay the first scenario. And the reason why I did the first scenario for you guys was so that I didn't spoil any other subsequent scenarios. So this is sort of what the board can look like. These tiles worked out fantastic, especially since Kraken Studios made these tiles from the original Warhammer Quest tiles. It really matches and fits Dungeoneers as well. Not perfectly, but because the size of the rooms can be approximate, it isn't super important that it's exactly the same. I found that being able to use a lot of the rooms that Kraken Studios provided fits really well with this game. Also, because they provided the custom room building option, that's what I did to make sort of 6x6 custom tiles. And for this final boss room, I just stuck two of those custom tiles together to create the 6x12, which it matches what is in the book. So I really like the fact that Kraken Studios did provide that customizable room set, because then you can configure your rooms to be any shape that you want. And if you wanted to do so, you could go ahead and recreate exactly the rooms that you find in Dungeoneers. But I found actually that the thematic rooms that Dungeoneers came out with, for example, this throne room here, works perfectly fine, and you can just proxy in this room for any of the larger rooms that you might draw. I really also love this bridge, and this can be used. There's a room in Dungeoneers where it's actually a larger room, but there's a bridge going across the middle. This definitely is a good proxy for that room as well. And then the starter tile, I think, works fantastically with the steps descending down into the dungeon. One of the things that I did do differently was I did change up the standard doors from Kraken Studios, because they do work fine, but they basically pop out whenever you open up a door. And again, you know, that's fine, but I wanted doors that actually swing open. So what I did was I modified these doors that are from Dragon's Rest and made it so that these functioning doors basically swing in and out. That's also the case for these smaller doors as well, which I really love from Dragon's Rest. I did submit these files, these modified files, to Ian. It's really up to him whether or not he wants to upload these and make it available for people on the Community Remix website. So if so, I'll provide links below. You will need to become a $6 patron for Dragon's Rest in order to grab these files, but you're going to get a ton of other files anyway, so totally worth it. Other than that, I didn't really modify anything, but I did include some other pieces from other sets. So for example, this little well to create the Ten of Hearts room that has the healing well in the middle. This was just pulled from my Fat Dragon Lock set. Also, some of these pillars, as well as this dwarven statue, was also pulled from Thingiverse, and those are free. Links in the descriptions below if you want to get those as well. And then also this trap here, which should be a pit, but really doesn't matter. Almost all of my adventurers actually fell into the pit. They failed their dex roll to jump across the pit, so they took a D10 of damage, but this trap works really well as a proxy. And then finally, these barrels and crates These are from Gloomhaven off of Thingiverse again, if you wanted to grab those. And as you can see here, it worked out great using the fantasy dungeon set from Kraken Studios to build out this dungeon. So I think it works perfectly good. And if you're getting started, I would say print out 4 any random hallways and then 4 rooms of any particular size. Just vary it up, and that will be enough to sort of get you started. And as you go along, you can print out more rooms and hallways as needed. And like I mentioned before, some of the themed rooms are really good. Aside from the throne room here, I know that they have sort of a jail theme one as well as a library. So there are some really good options. And this is just the stone dungeon set. Kraken Studios also came out with a cavern set and a hell set. So you can really have a lot of variety and mix things up. And what I did was I did sort of vary it up between printing out ones that do have the walls, sort of the partial walls to them, as well as the tiles that have no walls to them, because I wanted to be able to store a lot of this, make it more compact. So obviously the walls, the partial walls look really cool, but in terms of storage, it's going to be a lot less space just to stack up the ones without the walls, the simplified versions. But again, that's entirely up to you. I think this is a good balance between being able to have storage as well as having enough elements to hint at walls that it looks really good. And then with the 3D elements, the furniture and things like that, it just adds to it. Now, some have mentioned why not use my Dragon's Rest tiles for this game, and I totally could do that. And if I was doing that, then I think I would actually combine the tiles to pre-print rooms that are these sizes. But again, I could have entirely done that. That would have been great, worked fine. But I did want to try out Kraken Studios as well. It is really handy and nice to just pull out a tile and slap it down rather than having to build out a room and putting on the walls. That's extra time that goes into building things out. So there is a way that these pre-built rooms are really handy, and it is quicker to sort of slap down and you're good to go. I had a ton of fun, and of course having this kind of terrain just really makes it that much more immersive, and it really does feel like a crawl that you are slowly uncovering as you go along. And just had a ton of fun. Again, if you haven't seen my review video, make sure to check that out, because this rule set is perfect for any 3D dungeon set that you have. Don't feel limited if you don't have Kraken Studios prints or Dragon's Rest. I know that Michael, who created this game, he has the printable scenery dungeons that he's used, and all of the photos that's inside of the booklet is from that set, and that looks fantastic as well. So basically, any sort of 3D printed set works really well with Dungeoneers if you're looking for a rule set where you can utilize a lot of the 3D prints that you made for dungeon crawlers. I hope this inspires you to create your own dungeon if you haven't done so already. Again, check out my Patreon link below to check out the GGGG for this month. Otherwise, happy printing, happy painting, happy gaming. We'll see you next time.